Yay! Welcome to the team call. Thank you everyone for coming. I'm really excited to introduce Brad to speak to us tonight. Brad has known me since day one because he was or is, he works with Colleen. They were success partners. I'm not sure what you guys do now, but we always see Brad everywhere we go, everywhere. So he's got to watch me grow up from a baby coach to a middle-aged coach now. Brad has been a coach for 4.5 years. He's a 5-star diamond, 6-star combined, including his wife's account. He was a premier coach in 2015. He's going to be talking today, which is going to be awesome, a little bit about how he went through kind of some ups and downs with his business where he feels like it crashed and kind of burned back in 2016, which I'm really excited to hear about because you've always come out on top and, you always share your struggles and you're really open. And you're really no bullshit. And that's something that I really love about you is that you lay it all out there and you're just super honest and genuine. He's an all-star legend. He's been in Success Club 48 consecutive months. He's a full-time coach, full-time income earner as a coach. And he's a dog dad and he just got married. So congratulations, Brad. I'm really happy for you. I love all the photos and everything. I'm just going to hand it right over to you because I want to hear everything you have to say.
Sweet. Well, I am pumped to talk to you guys tonight. Speaking is one of my all-time favorite things to do, and I love just being able to add value in whatever way that I possibly can. Knowing that we're going on 40 minutes, I'm going to dive right in because this call normally is an hour. So there's things that I might skip or I might rush through. If I do, just come at me later and I'll get you some notes from it or go over it again. So how many of you guys have ever pushed really hard for something and then you come up really short? Right? You miss a big goal. Me too. Our team pushed for elite 2 times in a row. Okay. And I remember saying to myself on January 1st of 2015, this is our year. Right. And I thought that if our team hit elite, I'd just be so incredibly happy. And I set that goal along with my success partners and we pushed and we fought and we did everything we could. And then December 31st, 2015 came around and I had the rank and everything. And the problem was that we missed elite by 5 points. We missed it by 5 total elite points. And if you're a newer coach, don't worry about what that means. Just means we were really freaking close. And I was like, it was a weird combination of like being incredibly proud of my team, like super, super proud of my team that I could represent them on stage as a premier team. But there was that little voice in the back of my head that basically said like, dude, you should have been more, right? You could have been more. You failed as a leader. You don't deserve elite. And shit, guys, like it hurt. Right? Emotionally, it was like this weird mix of proud and devastated at the same time. And that voice in my head beat me down to the ground because at the same time that I didn't hit elite, there goes one of my best friends, Colleen, hitting elite. There goes one of my best friends, Dana, hitting elite. And all these other coaches that I've personally mentored hitting elite. And my self-confidence just went like to the shitter, right? And I remember watching them at Summit the next year. And seeing them on stage, and it was that same blend of proud and destroyed. And I thought to myself, why aren't I as good of a leader as them? So 2016 came around last year, and I went for it again. Claimed at the beginning of the year, went for it, fought with everything that I possibly could to make it happen. I was consistent in Success Club, and I fought. And then December 31st, 2016 came around, and I woke up a 2-star diamond coach. I dropped rank with 90 elite points, meaning not only had I missed the rank, but I missed the points too. There goes all my all those other team friends and coaches hitting elite again. And there goes that voice in my head saying, why aren't you good enough? Only this time, and this is where things took a shift in my business, only this time I trained my mind differently. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about tonight. I had grown, I'd matured, I'd learned how to beat that voice. And the point is, that I fought incredibly hard for something for 2 years in a row to come up short both times. And so how many of you guys have ever gone really hard for a goal and you come up short and you feel destroyed or worthless or hopeless or bummed out or pissed off? Anybody ever felt that way? Or how many of you guys have ever had rock star coaches that come onto your team and they disappear and you just want to fight so hard to keep them there and you see like, and they just go away and you don't know why? Right? Like, or how many of you guys have been working really hard at something and someone new joins the business and starts crushing it right away and you're going, what the hell? Like, this isn't cool. Or maybe you're part of a push group and you're in there and you're working really hard to get to diamond or to 2-star or whatever it is and other people are flying through those ranks and it hurts, guys, right? It hurts when you don't hit those things, when you don't hit those goals, right? That shit hurts emotionally. And it hurts to feel like you're in second place or it hurts to feel like you're more talented than someone else, but you're not seeing the results, and it hurts to push for elite. All your friends hitting it, and you coming up short, and that little voice going, you were never good enough. Right? I felt that more often than I can begin to express on here, and it hurts, guys. But the reality is, and the reason I'm sharing that with you, is that it doesn't fucking matter if it hurts. It matters because guys, here's the thing: pain in life is guaranteed. That's just something you need to know. Pain in life is going to be guaranteed, but suffering from that pain is your choice. Pain in life is guaranteed, but suffering from that pain is completely your choice. You can look at it in one of two ways. You can say that other people are better. You can say you're not good enough. You can say you don't deserve this, or you can celebrate other people's success and choose to make it mean that it's possible for you, right? You can see that and say, okay, that means that I can clearly do this too. But sitting there and comparing yourself to other people is the thief of joy. It takes the fun out of everything that we do, and it leads to burnout, because you're going to be staring at Candace, you're going to be staring at Colleen, you're going to be staring at these other people, and all you're going to be doing is focusing on them when they're doing all the actions that you should be doing, and you're going to get burnt out, right? It's not going to be as fun for you. And I think I'm getting some feedback noise, guys. I'm not sure who it is. But and then, like, all those people that want to follow you and the people that you want to inspire and that you want to connect with you aren't going to be able to feel your energy, right? They're going to be able to tell that your heart isn't fully in this, and because of that, they're not going to reach out, right? So that means that we control what we put out there. And if we're comparing ourselves to other people, other coaches, if we're focusing on that, it means we're intentionally saying, I'm going to tone down my energy because I believe I'm not good enough. And I'm okay if no one's inspired by me. That's what comparing does. I want to talk about that because comparison is something that everyone falls victim to sometimes, but you can choose not to, right? So I want you to focus on your vision, right? I want you to focus on where you're going. If I spent my time just staring at Colleen the entire time, knowing she started 6 months after me, and her team hit elite numerous times, and our team hasn't hit it yet, how motivated do you think I'd be? I'd be dogging it. Right? But I'm not looking at Colleen. I'm not looking at Jamie Fitzpatrick. I'm not looking at Candace Rogers. I'm looking at retiring Janice from her job. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at changing someone's life. So you need to understand, other people are going to move faster or slower. Other people are going to start after you and just crush ranks. But you can't allow comparison to sneak into your life, because it takes your eyes completely off of where you're going and focuses on the car that's driving next to you. And when you take your eyes off the road, when you're going 80 miles an hour for something that you're passionate about, guess what happens when you're staring at the other car the entire time? You crash and you burn. So watch your road and don't ever take your eyes off of it. And I know that helps, but there are some times where we hit these slumps, right? Times where we don't control our mindset, times where we feel weak and hopeless, and times where we know exactly what we need to do, but there's just that lack of drive inside of you, right? Like, it feels like you're trying to force a fire to start in the middle of a hurricane. Like, you see the laptop staring at you, knowing the shit that you got to get done that day, and you know you got to send out your invites, and you care so much that you have to invite people today because you want your business to grow, but at the same time, you also don't give a shit in that moment. Right? It's almost like you're forcing yourself to action. If you haven't faced that, that is amazing, but I know there are coaches that have, right? And sometimes, how many of you guys have ever felt like you're pushing and you're pushing and you're pushing, but no matter how hard you push, it just feels like you don't have the energy to give and you're almost forcing it, right? Anyone ever felt that way where you almost feel like you're forcing it? I've been there too. I've been in that place. And that's where stuff like personal growth and Summit and Super Saturday next month are so important. But if you learn to think correctly when you're down, and that is a skill, guys. If you learn to think correctly when you're down, it is going to be so much shorter of a time before you get back up and you have that fire lit again. You're talking to someone that was the king of comparison. I thought I deserved all this success because I was friends with someone who created a workout program, right? I thought that things would just happen, and then they didn't. Right? And my business crashed and burned. I'm talking 2.5 years of ego-driven, selfish, negative self-talk. And I would find myself in these groups of incredibly successful people. And I compared myself. And when my business didn't have the size that I wanted it to be at, right? And I'm with all these people, like, I started to compare myself. And I went into one of those slumps. And guys, guess what? I thought about quitting. I thought about quitting coaching about 3 years into my business. And all those thoughts of, I'm not good enough, or they have it easier, or why does this always happen to me? All those thoughts ran through my head like this uncontrollable river that I couldn't stop. And it almost happened weekly. Like, you know that feeling of like you're doing really, really well and you go from A to B and you're killing it, right? You get to Emerald, right? You're killing it. And then you go from point B to point C and you're working really hard to get to Diamond, and then you get to like one coach away or like just before that next rank, and then shit hits the fan and there's this massive wall of self-sabotage and you go right back to the beginning of Emerald or wherever the hell you were. And it's almost like it just sends you right back to square one. That is a matter of thinking, not a matter of circumstance. I had to learn how to adjust my thinking so I could break through C and get to D. I had to learn how to adjust my thinking so I can get out of those slumps faster. And I worked so hard on my mindset. It was either quit, eliminate myself from this community of growth, or figure this shit out. And I focused on personal growth. And something interesting started to happen when I focused on growing myself more than I focused on growing my business. Those periods of stress and anxiety and depression about my business that wasn't building, that I faced weekly, almost like multiple times a week, they started to happen once every 2 weeks. And then it was once a month. And then it was once every 6 months. And when they still come up from time to time, but when they do happen, I know how to course correct and change my thinking. Guys, those are the cobwebs of your business that you're going to have to get through if you want your why to come true. You're going to have to get through that, because how you think when you're down determines how long it's going to be before you get back up, right? People ask me and they see my Facebook post and they say, dude, you seem so happy, right? How do you seem so happy all the time? And I'm not perfect at this. There are times where I don't feel happy. But I've trained and figuratively rewired my mind to respond to situations differently in my business and in my life. So I'm going to tell you exactly what I do to train my mind that way. So every day, I do an exercise called priming by Tony Robbins. I'll send Candace the link to it afterwards. It's a 14-minute deal. And when I go through it, it forces you to get to a state of gratitude. Not just like, I'm grateful for my house, I'm grateful for my car, I'm grateful for my dogs. I'm talking about real gratitude. It is, guys, like if you want to cure comparison, you want to cure pain, you want to cure depression, you want to cure anxiety, get grateful. It is impossible to feel pain if you are truly grateful. And I can respect if you've been in those states of mind where you're already in the dumps and it's really hard to feel grateful, but this exercise forces you to go there, right? And so let me give this example. I want you guys to think about this. And everyone, unless you're driving, close your eyes for a second. Close your eyes for a second, and I want you to remember the worst memory of your life. Positive talk, Brad. Right? I want you to remember the worst memory of your life. I want you to picture it, and I want you to be in that moment right now. And just think about it for a second. Keep your eyes closed, and envision yourself in that exact moment, the worst memory of your life. And keep your eyes closed, shake your body out a little bit, and now I want you to focus on a memory from your past that you can feel so much gratitude for. When did you meet your husband? Where did you meet them? What about your kids? First time you gave birth? Whatever it is, pick your favorite memory from your past right now. And I want you to, with your eyes closed, go back to that memory, and I want you to breathe the same way you did then. And I want you to feel the same feelings that you felt then. I want you to think like this is happening right now. What do you feel when you just feel so grateful that that memory happened in your life? Just take it in for a second and just feel truly grateful that that happened. You guys can open your eyes. But when you guys were focusing on that moment of gratitude, did you even think about the horrible memory from your past? No. It didn't even cross your mind. It is impossible to feel pain when you're grateful. Impossible. Try it. It doesn't work. I'm not talking about the bullshit grateful for my cell phone stuff. I'm talking about real gratitude. Like, would your entire day change if the first thing you focused on every day when you got up was real gratitude? And that Tony Robbins exercise that I'm going to send Candace after this teaches you how to get there, right? Like, if you rush to work and your spouse doesn't give you a kiss goodbye and your dog shits on the carpet and you get to work and your boss makes you stay late because you got in late, and it's just like you get home after your kids are in bed, that's a pretty bad day in most people's eyes, right? But would your day change? Would your entire day change if the first thing you thought about before your feet hit the floor was, you know what? I am so lucky to be alive today. Like, how lucky am I that I have running water when there are women in this world that don't know how to feed their kids, right? Like, hey, Janice, can you not throw that? Sorry, there's a dog squeaky toy outside. Like, how would your day go differently, right? If you focus on what you're truly grateful for every single day, if you primed your mind, right? How would your happiness change if that was how you approach your day? Even if those perceivingly negative situations in your past happened or in your life happened, even if that still happened, how would your happiness change if you were grateful every single time a negative situation in your business came up? What if you were grateful, right? And I started to treat my business differently. I started to be grateful for the hardships in my business. And my brain started to rewire itself. Guys, your view of life literally determines your future. So every single day, focus on being grateful, and slowly the anxiety, the depression, the overwhelm, the fear, you're going to slowly start to not notice it as much, and you're going to become excited about every friggin' day. And you might be anxious right now, someone that claims they're an anxious person, and that's okay. I respect that. You might be in a depressed state, and you might be saying, Brad, you don't understand. And I don't understand right now, but I respect you if you feel it. All I'm saying is, why tolerate staying there? If there is one little chance that this whole gratitude thing works, wouldn't it be worth practicing every single day? Guys, all stress is a code word for fear. That's all. It's the achiever's word for fear. That's what stress is. Stress comes from associating the meaning that something's more important than it really is. Overwhelm. It's fear. That's all overwhelm is. It's you not having a priority. That's what overwhelm is. Pick a priority. Overwhelm goes away instantly. And perfection, right? Perfection, that is fear. Fear of things not working out. Quit trying to be perfect. Tony Robbins talks about how perfection is the lowest possible standard you could live your life in because it's impossible. It's literally impossible. Train your mind like you train your body, right? Condition yourself to think this way. I had a victim complex most of my life. I don't know if you guys follow my story, but I had a pretty rough childhood, right? And I had this victim complex growing up. And I felt like my voice didn't matter, but I trained my mind and rewired the way that I think. And now it's natural for me to be happy. My default setting now is happy, right? The quality of your life is always in direct proportion to the quality of your emotions on a second-to-second basis. And in any moment in time, you can be upset about anything, because what's wrong is always going to be available to you. You can always find something to bitch about. Always. What's wrong is always available to you, but so is what's right, guys. You can always find something right in your day. Push against problems instead of giving into them, guys. Everyone has problems, right? The only people that don't have problems are in cemeteries. They're dead, right? If you don't have problems, you don't have a life. And this is a quote that I love. Problems are literally the resistance that you push against to sculpt the character of who you are. Problems are the resistance that you push against to sculpt the character of who you are. So take this and make the primary emotions of life the ones you actually want, because you literally control it. And when you view your life as extraordinary, it doesn't just affect you, it affects everyone around you, and people give it back. So we talked about comparing, talked about gratitude, talked about rewiring your mind. So let's say you start laser focusing on what you want. There's still going to be part of you that plays tricks on you, right? Like, and that happens when you become so attached to a goal coming true, to diamond coming true, to emerald coming true, to success club happening, to 2-star happening, to from retiring your job, right? And where you become so attached to a goal that it literally pushes away what you want. I found myself pushing so hard for elite. My happiness was only going to be there if I hit elite. And no matter how much I pushed for it, it just felt like it was further and further away. I hit Success Club 10, 20, 30, but it felt like nothing was happening. How many of you guys have ever had that mindset of this needs to happen, this needs to happen, this needs to happen, or I'm not going to be happy, or I'm totally screwed, or I need this to work, and if I come up short, by the way, it happens sometimes, right? Like if you have that mindset of this needs to happen or I'm so fucked, right? Like how do you feel if this is an absolute must happen and you don't get there, right? You feel pretty crappy, right? Like if your happiness is completely dependent on a goal, you feel pretty crappy if you miss a goal, right? You feel like your self-worth took a hit a little bit. And guess what? A to B, B to C, self-sabotage right back to A, right? That's what I used to do. The reason that's happening is because you're skipping the entire first part of success. You're refusing to accept what's already happened in your past, and you're attached to an outcome. And I'm going to do an exercise with you guys real quick, and I'm going to fly through it because of time. And Candace, I don't know if we have to like pay for the upgrade version, I'll repay you for it, and then you can cancel next month, just in case we go over. Okay, so but guys, like going back to what I was talking about, take out a sheet of paper, and I want you to draw 2 big circles next to each other. I'm going to try to finish in time. 2 big circles next to each other, okay? And above the left circle, I want you to write my story about what happened. That's what I want you to write, my story about what happened. And above the right circle, I want you to write the facts. So it's my story about what happened on the left, and on the right, the facts, okay? And let's talk about the idea of Success Club. How many of you guys have ever missed Success Club? Anybody? I've never missed Success Club or a rank goal, right? We'll use Success Club because it's the most basic. We'll use that, right? And so how many of you guys have ever come up short and there's these stories playing around in your head? You can do this for any goal in life, not just business, not just Success Club. And you miss a goal and there's these stories playing around in your head. I want you to write these in the left circle, and anything else that you think of that's played in your head when you miss Success Club or a goal. I didn't have time. I don't know if I can do it. I'm going to rapid fire through them, but just write anything that comes to mind and the bullshit that goes through your head when you miss it, right? I didn't have time to hit Success Club. I don't know if I can do it. I need this to work, and if I don't, I'm totally screwed, right? I always face the situation in my business where people say no. Every time I try, it doesn't work. I need to do this. I don't know if I can do this, but I need to do this, but I don't know if I can do this, right? Why are they able to do it and I'm not? And take a second, write down any other reason that you make up in your mind about why you miss Success Club when you do, or any other that comes to your mind. I'm not good enough. I'm not a good enough leader. Write down any other bullshit story you tell yourself. And those things I listed off, I'm sure you've experienced some of those feelings when you missed a goal, yes? You've experienced some of those feelings, right? Isn't it like when you look at all that stuff in your circle, isn't it incredibly overwhelming and intense and stressful to try to solve all that shit, right? It makes you want to go in shutdown mode, right? Like, how do you solve those problems? There is literally like, how do you do it? I don't know. If you find out, tell me, because that'd be awesome, right? That's because it's all part of a story you're telling yourself and you're making up in your head about what happened. But think about it. What really happened? What is the only thing that is true of the entire situation? The only thing that's true is I didn't hit Success Club. Write that in the right circle. That is the only fact. Or I didn't hit 2-star. I did an emerald. It's the only thing that's actually true and not a bullshit story in your mind. It's literally it. That's the only fact of the situation. And which one, left circle or right circle, story or fact, do you know how to solve like that? The second one, right? What's the solution? Invite more people. Cool, solve your problem. There you go, hit Success Club, done. Right? Like, that's how you do it. You know how to solve the problem in the snap of a finger, right? All that stress that you face could have been avoided the entire time. The entire time. You just focus on the fact. What happened, happened. You missed Success Club. Get over it. It's done. What didn't happen, didn't happen. Right? Is that part clear? Makes sense. Focus on the fact and you're going to go less crazy. Flip your sheet over. Draw 2 more circles. Left circle, label it attachments. In the right circle, label it commitment. Attachment on the left, commitment on the right. If you're in the state of focusing on your BS story of what happened, and this absolutely must happen, if this doesn't happen, I'm so screwed, and it needs to happen right now, what emotions do you feel regularly? Like, if you're in that Storyville mode, what emotions do you feel regularly when you live in that state of mind? And I'm going to rapid fire through some that I got pulled up on my screen here. But I want you to write as many as you can down in that left circle of attachment. Stress, anxiety, guilt, fear, sadness, shame, struggle, unhappy, trapped, faithless, victim, passionless, forcing, mad, angry, depressed, scarcity, doubtful, lazy, ungrateful, comparison. You don't have to write all of them down, but would you agree that's the gist of it? Just shitty emotions. And list any other emotions that you can think of in that left circle when you're in that state of mind where you're focused on your story of what's going on. Any other things that you guys feel when that happens, write it in that left circle. What if you guys let it go? Right? Like, what if you just chill and be okay and happy either way? Like, what if you become committed to achieving a goal, but not having your entire self-worth be dependent upon that goal? Think about that. What if you were committed to hitting Diamond? What if you were committed to Success Club? What if you were committed to hitting Elite? And what if every single day you focus on these goals because you love the process of who you're becoming instead of having your self-worth being attached to the outcome of that goal? What if you were committed instead of attached? What type of emotions do you think you'd feel on a day-to-day basis if you focus on the fact of the situation? Focus on being committed, not attached. Focus on the process of growing into a stronger person instead of dependent in order for your happiness to be there. Would you agree, and I'm going to rapid fire through these, that under commitment, you'd feel passion, energy, enthusiasm, happiness, drive, health, vitality, growth, progress, possibility, alive, belief, excitement, abundance. You'd smile, freedom, forgiveness, capable, trust, greatness, resourceful, pumped up, right? Those are some that I wrote down. Write down any other ones that you can think of. But which of those two circles are you more likely to solve a problem from? Attachment or commitment? When you have all those bullshit stories playing around in your head, and you're so attached that it must happen, you feel those emotions, you think you're likely to hit Success Club from that state of mind? No. You're likely to hit a goal from that state of mind? No. What about commitment? When you focus on the facts, I didn't miss Success Club, cool, invite more people, right? And you're focused on the process of who you're becoming. I didn't hit a goal, okay, cool. How can I grow from this? Who is this helping me become? Why is this making me a stronger leader? Focusing on the commitment emotions. Do you think you'd be more likely to solve a goal from that state of mind, right? Guys, when you're in attachment, a result isn't present yet, and you're completely dependent upon a result in order for you to be happy. You're completely dependent on hitting a goal in order for you to smile. But when you're in a commitment, you get a result every single freaking day because you're focused on the process of who you're becoming. And remember that feeling of trying to force yourself to do this, and you don't have the energy, the drive, or the desire that day? It goes away instantly and you become on fire. Guys, when you're in attachment, you are constricting energy from other people. And I bet you know, thanks, Tess. I bet you know if you're that person that's constricting energy. Okay, I got a timer, 9 minutes, 53 seconds. We can do this. All right. I bet you know if you can do it, or if you're that person doing it, if you're constricting energy from other people. But when you're in commitment, you're generating energy and you make people feel amazing every single day. When you're in attachment, this is kind of important. Your happiness is at the effect of life. Circumstances dictate your happiness. But when you're in commitment, your happiness causes life. And that is a whole new world to be in. Guess how your posts change? Guess how your invites change? Guess how your challenge groups change? Guess how your training changes? Guess how you speak differently on calls, right? Be committed to a goal, not attached. And all of a sudden, it's a lot more fun to set goals, guys. It's a lot more fun to be a coach. It's a lot easier to work this business because every single day you love the process of who you're becoming. We got to get rid of that voice. I know everyone, including me, have those negative beliefs. And if you're like me, then no matter how hard you try, sorry about the dog, you try to tell yourself that things are great. There's that little voice in your mind that laughs at you and says, yeah, right, dude, you're still worthless, right? Raise your hand here if you've ever said like anything like this. Why don't I have enough money? Why am I so lonely? Why don't people like me? How come I always fuck it up? Why am I so fat? Why is it so hard to lose weight? Why am I so broke? Why do I never catch a break? Why does it always seem so much easier for other people? Why can't I do anything right? Why am I so unhappy? How many of you guys are dicks to yourself? Seriously, guys, like how many of you guys like will read personal development books and no matter how much amazing shit floods your mind, there's still that piece of you that says, yeah, right, dude. Right? There's that little voice. You can barely tell he's there, but he's right back there saying, nope, you can't do it. You know what I'm talking about, right? That's one thing that I've learned in my life. It's a direct reflection of my thoughts. And when you set goals, you're trying to create a new reality as opposed to a current reality. Would you agree? That's what a goal is. But there's a gap between those two places. That gap is called belief. And until you actually believe that you can do something, it's going to be very hard to create a new reality, because most of us don't actually believe we can hit our goals. It's just the truth. Most of us don't have that intense belief that we can get there, right? And no matter how many times we set goals or go through a goal-setting workshop, it doesn't change that little voice in our mind that doesn't believe it's possible. Guys, when you ask yourself a question, your brain automatically searches for the answer. So actually ask yourself this right now. Why can I not hit diamond? Just ask yourself that question in your mind right now. What do? Your brain literally looks for the answer. And just like Google, it spits out the reasons why you're so shitty, right? But what if you reversed it, right? Instead of telling yourself that you always hit Success Club, even though you don't, you try to convince your mind that you're amazing, which you are, but you know that little voice is going to laugh at you. Why not just ask your mind a different question? Your brain is looking for the answer to what you're asking it 100% of the time, so you might as well be intelligent and ask it a better question, right? Like if you're asking, why is it so hard to lose weight? Your brain is looking for why it's so hard to lose weight, and you're focusing on that so you never lose the weight. A to B, B to C, self-sabotage back to A, right? Emerald, get close to diamond. You're saying, why is it so hard? Back to emerald, right? Like that's why. You're literally getting what you're asking for. So what if you reverse it? What if you say, why is it so easy to hit diamond? Why is it so easy to hit Success Club? And even if you don't believe it, you're going to start asking yourself questions that will lead to the answers of what will get your business to move forward. Like imagine if you move your mind towards that shit every day, right? Don't just change your thinking, change your questions. So for your life and your business, your homework, write down all the negative shit that you ask yourself all the time. After this call, why am I so broke? Why is my business not growing? Why am I stuck? And I want you to flip it on its head. Turn it into an empowering question. Why am I so wealthy? Why is my business booming? Why is it so easy to hit Success Club? That's what I want you to do. Your brain is looking for the answers to what you ask it 100% of the time. So you might as well be smart and ask it the right questions that lead to a better life. So let's close up here. 3 minutes. When you face hard times and you're going to be challenged in a really tough way, you have 3 options. Option 1, you can quit. I have a cancellation form, so does Candace. You can give up, you can eliminate yourself from this community of growth, and you can just keep living life, waking up a year or 2 years from now having the same bad day. That's option 1. Option 2, you can stay in the same spot. You can find yourself afraid. You can find yourself comparing. You can wake up with the same struggles a couple of years from now. Or option 3, you can grow. You can take action. You can do something about your future. You can run your own race, right? You can be committed, not attached. And you can ask yourself the right questions. But the reality is, guys, there's never going to be a right time to change the course of your life, ever. Something else is always going to come up, and I can guarantee you that. Life is going to try to get in the way when you start to do cool shit. Fears are going to come in the way. There will never be a right time, but that time that you could spend growing and contributing and giving people this, see you upgraded minutes, Candace. That time that you could be spending growing and contributing and giving people this gift of health and financial freedom is going to pass anyways. Right? It's going to pass. So ask yourself this question: when is now a good time? Guys, opportunity is knocking on your door, and I want you to fall in love with the process of who you're becoming. I want you to fall in love with every single day, even the struggles, even when someone says no, even when you miss a rank or you drop out of qualification in the 6th week, which has happened to me so many times, right? I want you to love every time it happens because it makes you stronger and makes you better, and it challenges the character of who you are. It's that problems that you push against to sculpt your character, right? This business is not convenient. It is adding something onto your life right now so you can take things away from your life later. But there's something in your gut, something that says that you're supposed to be here, something real here. You feel it in my voice, in Candace's voice when she speaks, you feel it on this team, right? And you're going to get faced with situations that we talked about in this call, and you can either face them and grow your mindset, or you can stay in the same spot, or you can quit. And I hope you face them, because I did. And now I'm the happiest I have ever been in my entire life. Come back to this call. Remember this stuff. The opportunity of this business is way too amazing to let go of. It is so incredible. And so I want you to make the time that you spend doing this worth it for your family. I want you to stop pretending you're working your business when really you're just dicking around on Facebook and scrolling your newsfeed. Every minute you do that is the same thing as looking your child in the eye and telling them they weren't worth it. That is what is happening. Or your husband. Same thing, looking them in the eye and saying you weren't worth it. That is the same thing that's happening every time you scroll social media instead of actually try to change lives every day, right? It's not convenient. I want you guys to make this worth it for your family. You're not minimum people, so don't give this business the minimum. The opportunity is knocking on your door, and we have the greatest business in the world with the greatest products in the world. And you don't have to carry the same schedule as Candace or myself, but you have to stand for something. You have to create a standard of excellence within yourself, not because Candace is checking in on you, but because you want to do this for your family, right? Like I said, you're not minimum people. Candace wouldn't have invited you to join this team if you were a minimum person. So give yourself more than the minimum here. Give yourself the future you want. Make the time you spend in this worth it for your family. Guys, it's your turn to make this happen. You got to do this shit when no one's watching, right? Face your fears, and don't just face them, but kick them in the freaking throat. Because you and your future and your family deserve this. I want you to draw a line in the sand and figuratively look at that line right now and picture it. And the second you stand across it, the second you walk across it, is when you actually take this seriously and run with it. Just because, and I hope you hear me, just because you signed up as a Beachbody coach does not mean you started being a Beachbody coach. Draw a line in the sand and make today your real start date to change your family's future. Keep this business simple. We literally meet new people, share about stuff on Facebook, and run cool challenge groups, invite people to pay this forward. That's literally our job. Your full-time job is harder than what we do, right? So do this with passion every single day. And when you do that, I promise you that instead of doing what most of society does, which is shrink their dreams down to match what society tells them they should do, instead of shrinking your dreams down to the size of your business or your income, you build something truly special here, and you build your business or income to the size of your dreams. You go the opposite of the trends, and you change your family's future. You give so many people this amazing gift of health and fitness and financial freedom. And guys, I hope you find this valuable. Take it and apply it, and I promise you, not only will your business grow, but you will be happier. You'll be a better wife or husband, and you will give your future children or just any people in your life an amazing life that they've never imagined before, because you had the courage to step across that line and say yes to this. Candace, back to you, my friend. I'm happy since you upgraded. I'm happy I got some time for questions if you want to do that.
Yes, thank you so much. This is literally everything that we all need to hear all the time, but it was perfect for right now. I have a question for you. A lot of us on this team struggle with self-sabotage. And you said you did a lot of internal work during that time when you recognized that. Are there any sets of any books that you suggest around that personal development?
Look at my shelf. I think the best thing that I ever did was went to a Tony Robbins event. That was the best investment I've ever made. It changed everything for me. It changed the way that I view my life. It changed the way that I view my relationship. It changed just everything. It's not a book. It's a seminar, and it's expensive, but it's worth every single penny. And then as far as a book goes, The Magic of Thinking Big is incredible. The Magic of Thinking Big. It allows you to think in just different ways than most people do, right? I'm a big believer in, if you see what everyone's doing, take that and run the opposite way, right? This book teaches you that. Because most people aren't happy. Most people aren't driven. Most people aren't going after their dreams. You guys are. And that book teaches you guys how to do that. Another book that I would recommend, and there's so many, but Think and Grow Rich, or Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude. Also, Think and Grow Rich is amazing. But seriously, when it comes to dealing with those negative voices in your mind, the best thing I could recommend is go to Tony Robbins. I learned how to master the emotions that I have every day. And literally, instead of it being like, I'm sad or I'm depressed or I'm angry, have it control my life, it changed to, okay, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling depressed, I'm feeling anxious. What does this emotion mean, and what message is it telling me? And I switched everything around, because all of a sudden I took control back. Instead of the emotions controlling me, I made the emotions mean something to me, and I didn't make them wrong. I made them mean something to me, and I learned the lesson that they were teaching me, and I changed my life from that. So Tony Robbins, number 1, but magic of thinking big and Think and Grow Rich would be numbers 2 and 3.
And you said success through a positive mental attitude.
Oh, yeah, that's another one too. Yep.
Okay. This was great, Brad. Does anyone have any questions? You can write them in the chat, or you can unmute or whatever. I have like 2 pages of notes, just of things that struck me that you said. I like how you reverse the questions. Why is it so easy to hit Success Club? You know, like just kind of like mentally.
Actually, Candace, can I touch on that real quick again? I forgot to say something during the call.
Yep.
So one of the reasons for that is whatever you spend time putting your energy towards becomes reality, right? Like when we say to ourselves, why is it so hard to lose weight, right? Like it's because we're putting our mental energy on what we don't want, right? Or even a better example for this is, let's say that you want to hit diamond and you look at it from the perspective of, I don't want to stay emerald, right? Saying I don't want to stay emerald, or I don't want to stay 1-star, or I don't want to stay 5-star, or I don't want to stay, not in Success Club, or I don't want to stay broke. When you look at it that way, even though it seems like it's focusing on a goal that you want, it's actually focusing on what you don't want, right? Why am I don't want to be stuck at emerald. I don't want to be this. So when you change it and you focus on what you do want, why is it so easy to hit Success Club? Why is it so easy to hit 2-star? Why is it so easy to get out of debt? You're all of a sudden focusing on what you want instead of what you don't want. And whatever you focus on tends to become reality, right? And when you consistently focus on it, your brain starts to rewire itself to find the answer to what you're looking for. So if you're focused on not staying emerald anymore, or not staying broke anymore, you're actually training your brain to stay broke or to stay emerald because you're focusing on it. So I just want to touch on that, because what you focus on becomes reality. And yeah, that's it.
Have you read The Secret or The Power? Because it's like all about that right there, like 100%.
I haven't read that.
You would love it. It's 100% about that. I don't know if anyone had any questions. I think someone might have unmuted. I'm just going to read through my notes real fast to make sure I don't miss anything.
It's like you crawled in my head and knew what to say. I said something in the chat box.
That's funny. When you had us do that thing about thinking back to like a bad memory and then thinking back to one we were grateful for, that was pretty powerful. I know a lot of us on this team struggle with actually like celebrating the little things along the way and being in the moment, because we're achievers and we move from like thing to thing to thing to thing. So that made me cry when we did that, because I don't give myself a lot of time to feel things. I'm like, all right, next. Because I have, and I know a lot of other people have, associated their self-worth with what they've achieved. So that was really powerful. Thank you.
Yeah, dude. Of course.
Yeah, I don't think I have any more questions. If anyone else, if not, I'll write them to you later. But and don't forget to send me the Tony Robbins priming thing.
Oh yeah, it's really, guys, it's tonyrobbins.com/momentum.
That's easy.
tonyrobbins.com.
It's like 1B, right?
What's that?
1B in his name?
2 B's.
2 B's. Okay, got it. tonyrobbins.com/momentum. Perfect.
Yeah, and at the bottom of the page, there's a 14-minute audio clip. That's the priming exercise.
Perfect.
So he talks about how, like, it's inconvenient to do it. You guys are all go-getters, and if you're like me, the second you wake up, you feel like you should be inviting, or like you're going to ruin your entire day, right? That's how I am. He always talks about how if you don't have 14 minutes for yourself, you don't have a life. And it forces you to just go in the state of gratitude. And guys, everything in your business changes, because it's like priming a lawnmower, right? If you don't prime a lawnmower, you can't start it. But if you prime a lawnmower, it's got fuel in the engine, and it can, I don't know how it works, but it works. So if you prime your mind being grateful, your messages are going to come across more friendly. You're not going to be stressed when that person is ghosting you, right? Your posts are going to come off as just full of positivity. People are going to be wondering if you're like on crack every day, right? So it's from one achiever to another. It seems like something that we don't need to do, and it almost seems like a waste of time. But if you just trust me and do it and force yourself to do it, you will be so glad you did.
Thank you. I'm glad that you said that, because, it's like meditating. It's like, oh my God, I can be doing so many other things, but it's so beneficial to your entire day. So thank you so much, Brad, for everything. I always enjoy hearing you speak. So many amazing nuggets. I know we all learned a lot, and I can't wait to share this recording with the team of anyone who couldn't be here. So yeah, thank you. I'm really grateful for you, and to know you, and to have you as a friend.
Brad, I just wanted to say thank you, and always staying humble, because it teaches us a lot about this business and how to stay humble in it too.
Thanks, Crystal.
I appreciate that.
I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you. That means a lot.
All right. Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you for forcing me to upgrade my Zoom, because it's long overdue. I can afford it, $14.99 a month. All right. Well, we love you and we appreciate you. And thank you, everyone, for taking the time out of your day to hop on here and get your inspiration cup filled up. And we'll see you tomorrow. Mwah.